So we are back in the backyard. Figure since Taz has been acting up in the car a bit, maybe this would be a little bit better, since it's nice out. Not quite 40, but good enough. And we have a little corgi pup running around somewhere. I think she's currently exploring behind the shed. And running through the yard like a crazy dog. Yeah. She'll probably make an appearance, but she's not used to this whole video thing. Yeah. So, I mentioned that I feel like at some point I'm going to end up in Philadelphia, right? And it's kind of interesting because I mentioned it to my brother after they said that I would be welcome to tag along with them if they move anytime in the future. And of course they were looking at Texas, Oklahoma, and places like that because where they've been before. And no. I offered up the suggestion. I said to my brother, I said, have you ever considered Pennsylvania? Because that was before I started honing in on the Philadelphia aspect of it for various reasons. We have corgi zoomies. No! Up and nope. There she goes. Just trying to stay out of her way. Anyway, I mentioned that to him, and he said, when I first told him that I felt like I was going to end up there at some point in time, he said that's somewhere that would be really easy to find him a birthday present. He should just get him Phillies anything and he'd be happy. It's like, interesting. That was actually one of several things that started making me think specifically Philadelphia. So then it was kind of funny because we talked briefly yesterday. Kindly disregard. Taz just smacking me with his toy, so if the camera jumped, that's why. So, let's see if I can get this. Daisy, where you at? Yeah, of course, now she's done zooming in. Kindly excuse our mud hole back here. It has been, we had all that snow that melted off, and now it's just kind of nasty in the yard. Yeah. But that his comment about Phillies was a piece of the puzzle that seemed to suggest that was the specific part of Pennsylvania, because I had no idea before then. It's just like, I feel like I'm going to end up here. And then I started thinking about some other things, and one day I randomly looked up zoos in Pennsylvania, since that's been something that I've been interested in here these days. Like, my mom got a zoo membership for us, for Gracie, since we were watching her so much. And it's one of those things, it's like, basically if you go once or twice, you've paid for the membership, so we've handled that. But it made me realize I really enjoy going to the zoo and taking pictures. I've talked about that on here too. I feel like nature photography at some, particularly animals, at some level is something I should be doing. And that dog is going to need a bath before she goes home. She's just rolling in the dirt and her feet are nasty. Oh, but she's having fun though. But anyway, since it's been something that I've enjoyed, I decided to look it up for Pennsylvania and see what their zoo situation is. And there was a website for one that I was really interested in going to at some point, and it was the Philadelphia Zoo. And it's just like all these little things started popping up, like, oh, you want this direction? Here, this is specifically, go this route, right? And after we talked about that a little bit, I asked my brother if he'd ever considered going there, and he said no. He said they had visited there before and they loved it, but it wasn't something they'd considered okay. There is no, they're doing a lot of work on the main road that is that way, and there's a guy over at my aunt's house, and the dogs just found him and are not impressed with whatever he's doing. So yeah, don't know what that's all about. Anyway, we are zooming again. You know what, this is kind of ideal. If all I got to do is sit back here and she just zoomies, burns all this energy out of her system, that's a win. Yeah, I don't know why Gidget's head's so dirty, but probably had a puppy jump on her, honestly. But anyway, when I was talking to my brother last night, he made a comment about, you could play my little game. He said if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, then we're meant to go to Philadelphia, and if the Chiefs win, we're meant to go anywhere else. It's like, well, okay, now what? So, yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've talked to them as much. You know, I talked about maybe being iffy on that possibility for various reasons, as far as like if we're supposed to go, or if I'm supposed to go with them somewhere. And I feel like the big thing is if they go there, I'll go with them, because that would be an easy way to get there. On the other hand, if they go anywhere else, it's like, well, I feel like that's kind of a waste, because I know that's where I'm supposed to end up at some point, right? So we just skip all those other steps. You know, last night was kind of funny. Like, I haven't even watched the Super Bowl in years. My ex got way too into being obnoxious during them just to make sure nobody else could enjoy them. So, well, particularly I couldn't enjoy them. So yeah, I just lost interest in football altogether at that point. But I used to watch it. And yeah. So that was the first I watched it. And wasn't really interested in the teams as much. I haven't followed it in forever, so that wasn't the thing. So I don't know, once my brother said that, I was just kind of like, that's an interesting point. And you go that route, totally in. This dog's got a stick like twice as long as she is that she's trying to chew on. This is not my favorite spot lighting wise, because I feel like I'm about half blinded, but at least, hey, I have bangs that can kind of block some of it, I guess. So there's that. Yeah, it is kind of peaceful with having them run around and do their own thing while I'm doing this, and not having to be involved with what I'm doing. I think they appreciate that too. I had figured if it wasn't quiet enough around here, namely if my parents were around, then I would just go over to my aunt's house, take all the dogs with me, and do a video in their yard. But this works out, so I still will probably take all of them over there later. Normally I've just been taking the pup twice a day. We'll go over there once in the morning and I'll try to give her breakfast, and she doesn't really like eating it over there so much. She's a free range dog since she's an only child on that end, and she doesn't know about you know, not being able to just have food out all the time because there's 4 of these guys and they get in each other's business. Ziva and Taz would eat all the food all the time. And they try to, so they get on the table. So, yeah. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. Just like, fine, party pooper. The one downside of the situation I got dog-wise is this one is so ball obsessed, and she thinks that she needs somebody throwing the ball for her all the time to have fun. However, she has laid down, so I don't know what's on her. Yeah, this mud situation. I don't know if it's just mud or if a little crazy number might have stepped and pooped too. So everybody's going to need baths in the near future. At very least, she's getting her head washed later. She doesn't like that. She does not like baths at all. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. But yeah, I was thinking I would take them all next door so they could run around that yard for a little bit. Mine will just sniff mostly. Gidget will want me to throw a ball, but Taz we gotta watch because make sure there's no stuffed toys of any sort because he will seek and destroy. I had some thoughts for what I wanted to talk about on here today, but I don't really know right off. I was watching a Chloe Taylor tarot reading earlier, and it's another one of those that is drawn to multiple piles, and on the first pile she's talking about how you're making big shifts, but the path hasn't been completely revealed. And the second one was talking about she pulled like 2 tower cards in it, and it was talking about there's a situation you need to get out of. It's like, yes, but how? You know, I feel like, you know, she's talking about, has them, of course, as 2 separate readings because they were, but then I watched them and it's like for a varied message for me, it was like that situation you need to get out of. Well, that would obviously be living in this situation, but then it goes back to that the path hasn't completely opened up yet, so it's like yes, I need out, but how? Yeah, she has no suggestions other than this ugly ass toy that she brought me and her mud spot on her head there. Tazzy man. Tazzy. Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, she was talking about when she realized she had to get out of the situation she was in. She had like $400 on a credit card and $200 to her name and all this stuff. It's like, well, currently I got like $8 to my name. And credit, no. I have a care credit card that I try to keep a balance on so they don't shut it off on me. And so far that has helped me, but that's how I pay the dog's stuff all the time. And yeah, it's like that's the only one I got. And I really don't, my credit's not that great right now. But hey, my car repo fell off, I think, last year. Or, well, within the past couple of years. So there's that, but it's still, the only thing I have is student loans, which is ugly in and of itself, and then my care credit. And as soon as I get the message from Experian saying great news, your credit score has increased. Then, like, it's because there's enough of a gap on this care credit card because somebody else has to go to the vet. So it immediately gets filled back up. And then, yeah, it gets filled back up. And then I get a email shortly thereafter saying, your credit score has decreased again. It's like, yes, I'm aware of this. Thanks. Cool. Dad's back home. I don't know. If I could just like pause this, get everybody collected, and go over to my aunt's house smoothly, I would, but I don't know how to do that. Because I think my phone would shut itself off, or it would accidentally hit the wrong button or something, and that would be a whole ordeal in and of itself. He's probably just after tools or something, because he's fixing stuff over at my grandma's house apparently. Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe I'll just sit here and do this anyway. Like I said, they'll eventually know about it. It's just not high priority, because they won't be happy about it once they start nosing around in my stuff, and I know that they're going to as soon as they know about it. So yeah, got my mom's bad energy out of my system yesterday. That helped immensely. And surprisingly, yesterday's video was way less erratic than I thought it would be. So that's always a strong point. Have a loop on my phone that I have my finger in so I don't drop it. And lost my grip somehow. What are we talking about today, Gidge? She just looks completely appalled. It's like, why are you talking to me when you're doing that? And when I'm not throwing her ball. It's kind of funny, because when I do throw her ball, the little puppy goes chasing after her. She does not like being chased at all, especially by a puppy. She used to be terrified of puppies. The last week we were in Alabama, before we left for good, my ex, for some reason, brought in 2 husky puppies. I know what the reason was. The reason was he was trying to come up with an excuse that I had something else to take care of, so I couldn't leave. Even though he didn't want me there, yeah, but he showed up with 2 husky puppies, and since we had to wait on my parents to get there to help us pack up and leave, we had a few days with these puppies. And that was a whole thing. I know he ended up giving one to somebody that he worked with, and I think the other one he talked about giving to his aunt up here in Indy. I don't know what happened on that end. The one I know that his friend did get, because I'm still friends with that guy on Facebook. And yeah, I every now and then will see pictures of the husky on there. Peppy! I think she saw me down here. She sees a shadow in front of the shed, but she didn't. Her eyesight's not real good. She's like 13 or something, so she's just gonna stand up there and yell, "Hi." Gracie used to call Gidget's tail her troll, because just that white blip on the end of it is like the most solid white she has, because she's got all her spots. And Gracie started calling it a troll, I think, when she was like 2. So it just kind of stuck. I don't want that. And that's why. It's because it looks like a little troll. Yeah. Oh, and we are zooming again. Or not. Or simmered. I think... Oh, that's kind of cute, actually. Those pointy ears. I think tomorrow I'm going to try to do a walk with the corgi included. I already kind of dread it, but I think it'll be good for her to learn to walk with the pack, so she is a little more mannerly than she currently is. Oh, she just has mud caked on her toes too. Shit. Yeah, lovely. Trying to figure out that whole the path hasn't completely opened up yet piece. It's like, I think a part of that is that I don't entirely know more about what I want to do yet. I pulled some cards last night that I finally got to this morning. I have this Ritual Planner daily tarot thing that I try to do a pull for every day, but it doesn't always happen that way. But the cards I pulled are one of my Kyle Gray decks. Something about angels. But one of them was talking about, I think it was Sacred Plan. It was talking about how part of, that's a whole lot of sirens. It's got all their trucks. We live right down the street from the fire station, so yeah. Truck ambulance in the little truck. But anyway, the Sacred Plan card, I think it was talking about something to the effect of basically part of the plan coming back to you is based on experiences, wishes, and prayers along the way. It's like, I feel like that's exactly, I need to make, or to get more clarity on what I do want and what kind of experiences I want to have, and be more specific about asking for those specifically. But yeah, 2 fire trucks, and they got a new one. I saw they had a post on Facebook the other day that they got one of the fancy trucks with the lift on the back of it. So yeah, I don't know if it's yelling, yep, maybe. Just look right up in the direction of the sun. There's a bunch of squirrels around here, and I had one video I did over the summer where they were throwing shit at me, and I got a video of an angry squirrel in the tree. I have not noticed them that close today, but doesn't mean they're not still around there, of course. Kind of peaceful this way, if you don't mind being stared at the whole time. He's chill. The other one's just exploring. Ziva, I think, is inside. Either there's a good chance my dad's eating something, because she is an opportunist, and if Grandpa is eating, she will always be there, because, well, he's prone to making a mess or leaving stuff behind. And if he leaves stuff on the table, and she knows there's stuff on the table, she's going to get stuff on the table, because he also doesn't push his chair in. Him and my mom both. It's like, as long as you leave the chair out, she's still going to get up there. When she was a puppy, she would have been able to jump straight onto the table, but now a little more lead in the butt, and she has to jump on something first. This dog and her staring at me. She denies it. Hey. Hey. Uh-oh. Right up in my business. Daisy. She's like, what? Where you at? She was not expecting Gidget to go off on her. Actually, Gidget wasn't even barking at her. She was barking at me, but she don't know that. She just knows she's barking. She's trying to figure out this pack dynamic since she's an only child. You know, her, I guess, niece. My cousin brings her dog up periodically to play with her. And my cousin's dog is like a year older. But they run nonstop the entire time they are together. And this is a completely different experience because mine, I mean, they like running, but they don't like puppy running. So she's got to entertain herself a little bit too. And yeah, oh, Ziva's back out. She's on the porch. I think they were all kind of surprised when we drove home instead of staying there to do a video today at the cemetery. But figure Taz has been being a pain, so we'll just roll with not being confined in the car for the video. And we have through Sunday with this kid. Actually, I think they're coming back. Is that the 17th? They'll be back Sunday morning. So, yeah. They'll be back Sunday morning. So I might just, no, I'll probably leave her here and take her over there first thing in the morning. Yeah. We'll figure it out. I don't really have a whole lot going on today, I guess. Kind of don't know what to talk about at the moment. And since they're both back now, Mom just pulled in the big driveway. Since they're both back, I guess I could just wrap it up and have a short one. Why not? Still did the thing. And I think that's kind of the bigger point, is just making forward progress each day anyway. Even if there's nothing exciting to talk about. There'll still be other days where there's more exciting stuff to talk about. Might skate today. Let my mom hang out with the corgi pup and go skate. Be good for him. That was one thing last night when we were watching when I was watching the football game. Nobody else was. Mom had it on saying she liked watching commercials. It's like she's computer shopping. She wasn't paying any attention. But yeah. At one point, the nice thing about this little corgi is my aunt and uncle have turned her into an old people dog. So she's used to going to bed at like 8 o'clock. So she started getting really difficult around 8:30. And I took her out one last time to potty and then went and put her to bed. And then everybody got some downtime and it was much better. Yeah, we just needed some recovery time from each other. Which, since it's a new situation. But like I said, I think tomorrow I will try to include her in the pack walk and see how that goes. And if it doesn't go well, then we'll make it short and do another one. but I think it will help to have her learning to walk on a leash with the big dogs. She really wants to play with Taz, and he only likes to play tug, and she would play tug, but every now and then he like gurs at her in the process when she's going after the toy he's already got, so she backs off. But if you can get them to both hold on to it, like, they will tug a little bit. He just usually gets a little pushy, and he'll rip it out from her mouth and before she even knows what's going on. Oh, now she's got it. She's running off with it too. She's been destructive on a couple of the toys too, but part of that is he brings stuff outside with him all the time whenever he comes out. So, like, in the winter, it's like I can collect all the toys and take them in, but then as soon as it gets really cold and gross, he's still gonna bring them outside when he comes out and drop them and leave them behind. So it's like, more trouble than it's worth. We lost several balls to the snow this year. They have since returned, obviously, but weather's kind of a little hard on them. So yeah, she's tore a couple things up. Not that she's more destructive than Taz. She just got, I think, a little tighter grip with her itty bitty teeth, and can still do her damage. Anyway, I guess I'll wrap this up. As always, I appreciate you. Until the next time, see ya.